$3.2 million for a house in Hamilton. Who's paying for it? Who's agreeing to this?
Yeah, first of all, the buyer just needs a lobotomy instantly.
Yeah, just remove all access to his cash.
This episode of the Under the Table podcast is brought to you by Shrubs.me, your all-in-one digital hub. Share files, links, videos, and more from one beautiful customizable page. Picture a cross between Dropbox, Linktree, and Patreon. Get your free account with 2.5 gigabytes of cloud storage today at Shrubs.me.
I mean, look, you got some crazy stats out there. I mean, you got, TD's talking about recession. TD's talking about the prices coming down. You've got, people concerned about the unemployment rate right now. Job losses. You got a lot of people out there right now who are looking for work. We got a lot of people out there right now who are they can't afford what they're living in, and it's a struggle. I mean, Canada's economy, has had one of the worst rises in unemployment rate out of the whole bloody world. There's only a couple countries ahead of us
with higher unemployment rates
that have had a higher change in the delta from the lows of COVID to now. You know what I mean? So it's like we're bursting at the seams here. And now we're talking about, thankfully we're talking about slowing down immigration, and there's a big change in the net non-permanent residents here.
About it, but they're ramping up. We had like 800,000 people in the first quarter.
No, well, there's still a huge downtick in overall people that are here, which is affecting the rental market, right? And so the non-permanent residents, when they're not here, they're the ones who are only going to be renting, right? If you're a non-permanent resident, you're not even allowed to buy, and you're definitely only thinking short term, so you're going to be renting. So we're watching rents fall in a lot of areas right now, big time.
Yeah. People are mentioning basements more than anything. Basement prices are falling through the floor.
Yeah,
prices got so crazy in so many areas. There's got to be an adjustment, I suppose. And then I don't know. There's a lot of stock coming on the market, and even more coming on the market soon. Just for new rentals, right? I mean,
yeah, all those condo rentals, right? Yeah.
No, not even the condo. I mean, there's that, but there's all the purpose-built rental buildings that have been, started or got financed recently, or have been in development for a while, or they're like part of the create TO nonsense, or
average one bedroom is almost down like 18%.
18%. So what's the average one bedroom now? Where's that? GTA?
20 Toronto. 2200.
2200 from 2350 or something like that.
From 26.
From 26?
Yeah.
Holy cow. That'll screw you up when you were like already losing money every month.
Yeah, big time. Yeah.
And now you got a higher interest rate, probably. It's a fucking holy Jesus.
Yeah. Toronto area condo market rents drops the most in 15 years.
Condo.
Yeah.
So, but what about like in normal apartments?
Well, that one there was for one bedrooms. That was all Toronto one bedrooms.
Like the majority is apartment buildings. It's not these condo fucking Frankenstein buildings.
Well, think about those guys there. You're closing on a new construction condo. You got 30 people listing for rent at the same time, and you're bleeding money every single month. You don't have an extra $2,000 a month, and whether you get 2,500 or $2,000, you just need money to come in ASAP. And that's why you're going to be, taking the cheapest price you possibly can.
Yeah, but you also have agents that are like, just close. We'll get a tenant in there, and then we'll get it sold for you. And it's like. No, it's even fucking harder because you got a tenant in there. You're losing money. Can't get rid of the tenant. And now you're going to now it's a tenanted in a sea of like condos that are the same that don't have tenants.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like, just close so I can get my commission for fuck's sakes. Right.
Medium rent's only down 5%. Median rent.
Oh, median
rent is only down 5%. But you got some last year. Four bedrooms are down 24%. Studios down 8%. 3 bedrooms down 9%. 2 bedrooms 3%. So like they're heading down. They're heading down.
What was 2 bedrooms? 3% down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's got to be the most sought after apartment right now. Is a 2 bedroom.
Sure, but you're gonna have some places that are gonna be looking at newer units, right? So when you got a newer unit, that should rent a little bit higher. So that kind of affects average prices, right? So we got a lot of places coming up for rent. Think about all the places that are coming up for rent. Markham down 26% 1 year
For
rents.
rent?
Yeah.
Wow.
Richmond Hill down 19%.
But like if you bought a house in Markham as
Yeah.
an investment to rent out, like is this really a smart strategy, TK? Is this really the place that you should have been buying a new construction home to rent out? For God's sakes, what were people
You know
thinking?
what I would say would be a really smart business plan for people to buy housing
Hmm.
is to buy in an area where there is a lot of Chinese buyers, right? Because the appreciation in those areas when the market's hot is like the highest.
Isn't
Like
that
in
Markham?
2017, yeah, 2017, we have prices in 2017 that never came back. Like they were like the highest ever, and then they dropped down like 40% almost, and some of them never even came back up until the peak of 2022, like still haven't. And those were all in the heavy Chinese buyer areas. So when they're buying and they got their money and everybody's hot and they want to be in those neighborhoods, there's a lot of appreciation there. But market fundamentals, I mean, yeah, Markham's probably not going to be your ideal scenario, right?
Not for that kind of thing, for
Do you
God's
ever do you
sake.
ever look at the sold below bought on House Sigma?
No,
You never do.
no.
So like people who like buy the property and then they sell it for less.
I see people posting stuff about that, but I
Yeah,
personally don't pay much attention to that because it's
yeah.
all smoke and mirrors anyways. The
What does
prices.
that mean?
Well, the prices are all bullshit. So like below asking, what does that mean?
Not below asking, below bought.
Below bought. Oh, sold below bought. Oh,
Yeah,
oh, you can search for that.
on House Sigma. Yeah.
Oh,
So like when you
that's how
start
everybody comes up with that stuff. Okay.
exactly. So when you look at some of the deals, right? So you've got some places that are like pretty significant. Where was that one in Hamilton here? This one here, they bought it for $3.2
Oh, I heard
million
about that.
dollars,
Yeah.
and then they sold it for 1.85.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a 40 something percent
Who,
loss.
but who
Who
the
paid
hell?
3.2 million for a house in Hamilton?
Not even that. Like
Yeah.
we talked about it this morning. It's the
Yeah.
same old story. How many people were complicit in that purchase going through?
Right?
Right?
They should be shot. They should be lined up on the street and shot. See,
Everybody
three
should be.
point two million dollars for a house in Hamilton. Who's paying for it? Who's agreeing to this?
Yeah. First of all, the buyer just needs a lobotomy instantly.
Yeah, just
Although it's
remove all access to his cash. And the
eh,
fact that he could sell it for 1.85 afterwards without
isn't
going
it?
power sale, right?
But
Like there was a lot of cash involved there.
I was still thinking when I was like
Not responsible.
1.85 in Hamilton, like who's the
Yeah.
fucking idiot that's still paying that for fuck's
And if
sakes?
you've got that much money, like how come you can't just float the mortgage?
What's
Where
going
where where
on?
is this level of irresponsibility coming from? How do
Yep.
you get to that? I mean,
Should,
sorry, buddy, if you're listening to this and that's you,
yeah, you're
you're a
dumb.
dummy.
You're
I'm
dumb.
sorry.
But hold on a
This
sec.
was I anybody could have told you not to do that.
But the appraiser should be lose his license,
The appraisal, yeah, the appraiser, he should be
right?
castrated or something.
Well, okay, like
Maybe that's extreme.